Hi guys, it's Miss McGann, and today we're going to be talking about surface area. We're going to use nets to calculate surface area, so let's get started. Surface area, well, we all know the area is referencing like covering the space or the amount of the object when it comes to a 2D shape. So with surface area, we're actually taking 3D shapes and unfolding them, like breaking them down into the shapes that compose each of their sides. So this on the screen would be called the net. So the net is all the pieces, all the sides connected together in their proper shape and where they would be properly connected. So this is a cube actually. All side lengths are the same. So if this is 3 inches, centimeters, feet, then all these other side lengths would be 3. So for our purposes, we'll just say it's inches. All side lengths are the same because these are all squares, and we know squares, all side lengths are the same. So if we're trying to find the area for this square, area of a square is side squared, hence squared. It would actually be that number times itself. So it would be 3 times 3 because all side lengths are the same. So if we did 3 times 3, we would get 9. But that's just for one side. We want to make sure that we're taking into account the whole surface, so all sides. So if we do 9 times 6, we're going to get the total surface area is 54 square inches. And remember, we want to do inches squared or square inches to represent our units. I'm going to go through several different nets of different 3D shapes. So this would be the net. If we unfolded a triangular prism, this is what it would look like. We have 3 rectangle sides or 3 four-sided shapes, and then we have 2 triangles on the side of this prism. So the area for a triangle is half base times height. The area for a rectangle would be base times height. So rectangle, 4-sided shape, triangle, 3-sided shape. So if we're looking at our triangle here, it does have this square in the corner, which we all know it represents a 90-degree angle. So we know that the cross here would be our hypotenuse. So this must be our base and this must be our height. Or if you want to call this the base and that the height, that's fine. But sometimes when our triangles are turned sideways, it's hard for us to see, okay, where's the base and height, and figuring out what numbers are we multiplying together if they're giving us numbers for all sides. So if you turn your head sideways, you can kind of maybe see it a little bit better if it's confusing as is what the base times height is. But we're going to actually multiply 3 times 4, base times height. And it is half base times height. Sometimes people like to multiply times a half or a 0.5 in their calculator. I like to divide by 2 because half of something is dividing into 2 parts. So if we do 12 divided by 2, we get 6. So the area for this triangle is 6 centimeters squared. I noticed that there's 2 triangles, so we would have 6 for area for both of these, and then we also have these rectangles that we need to find the area for. So 8 times 4 is 32, 3 times 8 is 24, and then 5 times 8, if this side length is 8, we know this side length must be 8 because opposite sides are the same length. So 5 times 8 is 40. That's how we got all of our measurements here. We added all 5 sides together and we get a total of 108 centimeters squared. Let's try a rectangular prism. So once again, we have our 3D shape and we're just breaking it apart into its sides. We're going to find the area for all sides, add them together, and that's going to give us our surface area. So if we take this first rectangle side, this is a side length of 2, and then we know it's a side length of 3 because opposite sides are all the same length. So these are all 3 centimeter lengths. So 2 times 3 is 6. So we know this one's also 6 because they're matching, they're opposites. 6 times 2, they said this length is 2, so we know this side length must be 2. 6 times 2 is 12, which this one must also be 12 because they're opposite sides. Otherwise, we have kind of a lopsided prism. And then this middle section here, this side length is 3, this side length is 6, so 3 times 6 is 18, and this would be the top. This is the opposite, so 18 and 18. So if we add all of our pieces together, then we're going to get 72 square inches. A square pyramid this is what the net for a square pyramid would look like. This is it in 3D form, but if you unfold all the sides, this is what we get. 4 triangles, 1 square. So they've given us some measurements. So we're going to use the triangle formula we talked about before in our square or our rectangle. You can still use rectangle, base times height, for this to find the area for a square pyramid. So remember, square, all side lengths are the same. So for our triangle, we have our base times height, 14 times 15, which is 210, divided by 2, or times 1/2, would be 105 centimeters squared for one triangle. So if we do it for all 4 triangles, that would be 105 centimeters squared for each. And then if we calculate the area for our middle piece, which, oops, it looks like I made a mistake. These side lengths aren't 15, they're 14. Oh, come on, Miss McGann. So I do have 225, but technically this is not the correct number. So I'm going to correct that. And it would be 645 centimeters squared if Miss McGann did her math, but she did not check that correctly. Moving on to the triangular pyramid, we have 4 triangles, and we have our height, and then when it comes to this triangle, this looks like it's an equal ladder, like all side lengths are the same on this triangle. So this actually could be our base measurement. This would match this length. So 12 is our base, 10.4 is our height, and if we go through the calculations, 62.4 centimeters squared per triangle. If we did that 4 times for all 4 triangles, we would get 249.6 centimeters squared. So if you like this video, we give grace to everyone if they're making mistakes, including teachers. But yeah, go ahead and make a comment below if there's something else you'd like to see as far as surface area or other math topics. And thanks for subscribing.